Story 1. The Third Floor Shadow. I should have trusted my gut when the security camera on level 3 was covered in black tape, but by the time I realized what was really happening, he already knew my schedule, my car, and where I lived. Let me start by saying, I'm not the paranoid type. I grew up in a big city. I've lived alone since I was 22, and I've never been afraid of the dark or empty spaces. But what happened in that parking garage changed something fundamental in me. Now I check my back seat every single time I get in my car. Every single time. I work as a financial analyst at a mid-sized firm in downtown Seattle. The job isn't glamorous, but it pays well. And honestly, I love the quiet of working late when the office emptied out. No constant interruptions, no small talk by the coffee machine. Just me, my spreadsheets, and the hum of the air conditioning. Most nights, I'd be the last one to leave, usually around 11 p.m., sometimes later. Our office building had a 5-story parking garage attached to it. During the day, it was packed. You'd circle for 15 minutes trying to find a spot. But at night, it was a ghost town. Just a few scattered cars belonging to the security team and us late-night workers. I always parked on the 3rd floor because it was the most direct route to our office elevator. Same spot every night, near the stairwell, under one of the flickering fluorescent lights that maintenance never seemed to fix. The weirdness started in October, right after they installed new security cameras throughout the garage. I remember because they sent out an email about it, something about enhanced safety measures and 24/7 monitoring. It made me feel safer, actually. The first time it happened was on a Tuesday. I walked out to my car after a particularly brutal day, 12 hours of work, skipped lunch, the whole 9 yards. I was exhausted, practically running on fumes. When I got to my Honda Civic, I stopped dead in my tracks. There were shopping carts surrounding my car, 4 of them, positioned at each corner like some weird ritual. I looked around, confused. This was a corporate parking garage. There wasn't a grocery store for 3 blocks. Where did shopping carts even come from? And why my car specifically? There were maybe 6 other vehicles on that floor, all untouched. I moved the carts aside, annoyed more than anything, and drove home. I mentioned it to my coworker Jennifer the next day, and she laughed it off. Probably some bored teenagers, she said. You know how kids are. But it kept happening. Every few days, I'd come out to find my car surrounded by carts again. Sometimes 4, sometimes 6. Once there were 9 arranged in 2 circles, one inside the other. It was always the same, perfectly positioned, deliberate. This wasn't random vandalism. Someone was taking time to do this. I reported it to building security after the 5th incident. The guard on duty, an older guy named Marcus, who I'd chatted with a few times, looked genuinely concerned. He pulled up the security footage from the 3rd floor on his computer, and we watched together. That's when we saw it. The camera that pointed directly at my parking spot, covered. Someone had put black electrical tape over the lens. You could see it happening on the footage from 2 weeks prior. At 11:47 p.m., a figure in dark clothing walked directly to the camera, reached up, and covered it. The timestamp was from the same night the shopping carts first appeared. That's not good, Marcus said, his voice quiet. I'll file a report and have someone remove that tape first thing tomorrow. What about the other cameras? I asked. Can you see who's doing this from a different angle? He clicked through different camera feeds, but the angles weren't right. You could see someone pushing shopping carts onto the floor from the elevator, but their face was hidden under a hood. And they always approached my car from the blind spot created by the covered camera. Look, Marcus said, I'd recommend parking on a different floor for now. Maybe the 1st level, right by the security desk, just until we figure out what's going on. I should have listened to him. I really should have, but I'm stubborn. And honestly, part of me was angry. This was my parking spot. I'd been parking there for 3 years. I wasn't going to let some creep with shopping carts intimidate me. The next morning, they removed the tape from the camera, Security sent out an email to all tenants about reporting suspicious activity. I felt vindicated, safer. I kept parking in my spot. For a week, nothing happened. No shopping carts, no incidents. I thought maybe the increased attention had scared whoever it was away. I even joked with Jennifer about it. Guess the cart collector moved on, I said. I was wrong. The following Thursday I remember, because it was Halloween, and the office had done this whole decorating thing. I worked later than usual. A major presentation was due Friday morning, and I was perfecting my slides. By the time I saved everything and shut down my computer, it was almost midnight. The office was completely empty. Even the cleaning crew had finished and left. I packed up my stuff, exhausted but satisfied with my work, and headed to the elevator. The building had that eerie quiet that only happens in the dead of night, every footstep echoing, every sound amplified. I took the elevator down to the parking garage, 3rd floor. The doors opened with a ding that seemed too loud in the silence. I stepped out and immediately felt it, that primal instinct that something was wrong. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. The fluorescent lights flickered more than usual, casting strobing shadows across the concrete. I walked quickly toward my car, keys already in hand, following the safety advice my mom had drilled into me since I was 16. My car looked normal. No shopping carts. I actually felt silly for being so tense. I unlocked it, opened the door, and that's when I heard it. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate, coming from behind the concrete pillar 20 feet away. I spun around. Hello? My voice cracked slightly. No response, but the footsteps stopped. I jumped into my car and locked the doors immediately, hands shaking as I jammed the key into the ignition. As I backed out of my spot, I saw him. A man stepped out from behind the pillar. He was wearing what looked like a maintenance uniform, the same navy blue coveralls that the building's cleaning crew wore. But something about him was off. He just stood there, completely still, watching me. Not waving, not walking toward the exit, just watching. I gunned it, tires squealing as I spiraled down to the exit. I kept checking my rearview mirror, expecting to see him running after me or getting into a car, but he never moved, just stood there on the 3rd floor, a dark silhouette under those flickering lights. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying it in my head, trying to rationalize it. Maybe he was maintenance. Maybe he was just on a smoke break. Maybe I was being paranoid. But the next morning, I called building security before I even got out of bed. I asked to speak to the manager, not just the front desk. I explained everything, the shopping carts, the covered camera, and now this man in a maintenance uniform lurking on the 3rd floor at midnight. The security manager, a woman named Patricia, took it seriously. She said she'd review all the footage personally and get back to me. 2 hours later, she called me back. "We have a problem," she said. "That man you saw? He's not our employee. We don't have anyone working maintenance that late, and his uniform isn't quite right. The logo's wrong." But here's what's really disturbing. We pulled footage from last night and several other nights over the past month. He's been in the garage a lot, and he's always on the 3rd floor, always near your car. My blood ran cold. "What do you mean, always near my car?" "He's been photographing it, your license plate specifically. We've got clear footage of him taking pictures with his phone. We've also seen him," she paused, and I could hear papers rustling, "sitting in his vehicle, which is parked 2 floors up, for hours after you leave. We ran his plate. The car is registered to a David Fenmore. He has a record stalking charges from 4 years ago." I couldn't breathe. Someone had been watching me for weeks, studying my patterns, taking pictures. "We've already called the police," Patricia continued. "They're reviewing everything now. In the meantime, we're banning him from the property, and I'm arranging for security escorts for any employees who work late. I'm so sorry this happened." The police contacted me that afternoon. They'd identified the man David Fenmore, 43. lived alone about 6 miles from my office. When they searched his car, he'd stupidly returned to the garage that morning and was arrested on site. They found a notebook. In it were my car's make, model, and license plate number, my approximate work schedule, noted over weeks of observation, and most chilling of all, my home address, which he'd apparently followed me to one night without me ever noticing. The detective told me that Fenmore claimed he was just watching, that he never meant any harm, but they also found zip ties and duct tape in his trunk. The shopping carts? His bizarre way of marking territory, according to the police psychologist, a signal to himself and maybe to me that he had access, that he could get close whenever he wanted. He was charged with stalking, trespassing, and possession of burglary tools. I got a restraining order. He pleaded guilty and got 3 years. I switched jobs 4 months later. I couldn't walk into that building anymore without feeling his eyes on me. I now work from home mostly, and when I do go into my new office, I park on the ground floor, under the brightest light I can find, right next to the security station. And I check my back seat every time, every single time. Because the scariest thing isn't what happened. It's what could have happened if I'd kept ignoring the warning signs. If I'd worked just one more late night. If I'd parked in that spot just one more time when he decided he was done watching.